Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. Time for our On the Market segment. And joining us now from lepage Performance Realty, Maz Karimjee. Great to have you on the show.
Good morning.
And interesting chatting because so many people, want to get the value for their home, want to get their home sold quickly once it goes on the market. And oftentimes these are two mistakes that people are making by not having the right pricing and not making their home available for people to come for showing. So let's start on the showings aspect, because it can be incredibly difficult for the person selling to have the clean house, the decluttered house, then getting out of the house. But it's really quite important.
It is very important, and I know how hard it is to make those moves, because especially when you're brand new on the market, there's so much attention towards you, and making it more flexible gets more people in. Because oftentimes when you do turn down a showing, those people might have booked 5 homes to see, and they might not come back to yours because they already like another home, so they missed out on yours. So it's more like short-term pain for long-term gain.
Is it something that you really have to stress with your clients?
Oftentimes, because often when they have dogs and they have to make arrangements, so what I would suggest is make arrangements with pet sitters or neighbors to get them out, so that it's easier. They don't have to come from work, because oftentimes showing requests can come in the morning, so we want to come in the afternoon. And if they can't make it there, then we are losing that showing. So if they make arrangements previously, it would make it quite easier.
Do you understand the frustration on both parts for people?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's probably the toughest thing.
It is, and it's very hard, especially with kids, pets, but I always try to tell my sellers that, you know what, let's do it as much as possible so that it'll be short-term suffering for long-term, because the faster you get sold, the better the price you get.
And the quicker, it's essentially right as you're putting the house on the market, that's when you really want to go with the heavy showings right off the top.
Absolutely, because that's the time when you're getting the most attention. The first 3.5 weeks is when you're getting, everyone's looking at you, so the more people you get in, the better it is.
And do you find with some of with their clients, they're already looking through the websites, they're seeing all the new postings that are coming up, that they're saying to you, listen, get us in, we want to be able to see that house. And
that's it.
Okay. And is it the relationship between you and the other real estate agent in terms of trying to constantly arrange these showings?
And that's what comes into play, because especially now with shift work, the buyers who are coming in, they've made arrangements to come at a certain time, and they'll be looking at 5 homes. So if we can't let them in, they're not able to reschedule. Oftentimes, you might think it might be easier to move them up by a couple of hours, but it's not, because they've got 4 other showings, and they've made arrangements with babysitters and stuff. So it's kind of, I do understand the seller's frustration, but I would suggest, I guess, the more flexibility they have, the better it is.
Well, that's one thing that it can be incredibly frustrating, but if you get to it, I like the short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Thank you.
And let's talk about the pricing, because people aren't coming to see your home if it's not priced right, or if it's priced incorrectly, they'll be disappointed when they come into the house. The
best way to show it is, let's say if you're at a certain price range, they have certain expectations to see, certain upgrades, certain size. So if they come in at that price, and if they don't see that, then you've kind of attracted the wrong buyer for that. So what's happening is that if they do get interested, then they will say, well, I might go for this home, but I'm really going to lowball it just to compensate for the fact that at this price I didn't find all the things I wanted. So being at the right price will get people with the right expectations, know this is what I'll get at this price, and get it done hopefully faster.
Okay, so how are you coming up with the right pricing? What are the main components to having the right pricing? Because you're looking at down the street and going, well, my neighbor sold it for this, so we should be able to get this. People probably play those games all the time.
Absolutely, and the best way we do, and it's very emotional. So what we do is to show the last 3 comparables or last 4 comparables of the same home, same model, if possible, or same size, had this, and that, while you have this, and that. So you should get more money than the neighbor or less money based on this. And oftentimes you might want saying, well, I've got more of this, but if
my basement is finished and I've got hardwood floors.
You got it.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. And if the other 3 cells also had that, and you wish to ask more, and you have no justification, that's when it gets tricky, because there's quite a bit of choices.
Is it tougher on the seller or on the buyer at that point, being in the wrong price point?
I would say probably more on the seller, because they get the showings and they're excited, of course, to say, well, what's the feedback? And then they would say that, well, we wanted this, or we wanted that, or bigger house, or we wanted to see more hardwood, or more. And the sellers are, well, why did they come in the first place? And then so it kind of goes into a cycle, saying that because of this price, they wanted to see more.
And it's tough to be in that cycle because then the frustration just builds and your house is on the it's on the market a little bit longer than you thought. People can find more information. You have a lot of your market out in the East End, but you're saying you're going as far out as Campbell now.
All over Ottawa, whatever relationship calls.
Well, perfect. Best of luck with all of your clients as well, and just make it easy for him to do those showings is the main point right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.